I'm going to mute everybody out here. All right, Steve, Mike, and William, if you guys want to unmute, we can go ahead and get the party started here this evening.
Yep, we've done just that.
I'm good. Can you hear me?
We're good, William.
I'm good to go.
All right, let's go ahead and get this screen started here. All right, everybody should be seeing my screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Travis Flaherty. I'm excited to be here with you this evening. And I got to tell you guys, I am absolutely so fired up to share with you this opportunity. I am in complete awe of what is happening right now with World Global Network. And I just have to share a little story, and then I want to introduce you to a couple of my friends. So first of all, a little bit about me. I've been married 18 years. I have 6 children, and I love entrepreneurship. You know, I believe that entrepreneurship is the new retirement plan. You know, we've owned a number of different businesses. We got involved in the network marketing industry 12 years ago, and this industry absolutely has changed my life. It's given me back the most valuable commodity that I have, which is my time to be able to do the things that I want to do rather than the things that I have to do. In fact, just shy of my 40th birthday in 2015, we actually retired from this industry. And over the course of the last year and a half, we've been enjoying life. We've been investing in other businesses. And a very good friend of mine reached out to me by the name of Mr. Mike Sims. Mike is one of the top network marketing professionals in the entire world. He called me in January and he asked me a question. He says, Travis, are you open? And I said, you know, I'm open, but I'm just not looking, Mike. And I said, what are you working on? He says, listen, I'm working on something right now, and I'm just gonna warn you right up front that if you take a look at this, it's absolutely going to mess with your head. And he asked me, he said, have you heard of World Global Network? And I said, yeah, you know, I've kind of been keeping an eye on it, but they're over in Europe right now, right? He says, no, they're getting ready to launch now here in North America. He says, Travis, I'm just telling you, I've never seen anything like this before. And I'm thinking, all right, Mike, what do you have? And he says, listen, I just want to send you a 2-minute video. I want to send you a 2-minute video just to check this out. And if it's something that you want to talk about a little bit more, let's get together. And so he sent me this 2-minute video, and I have to tell you that it immediately got my attention. Why? Because it's technology, and technology runs and rules the world. It was something that was completely different in the network marketing space. You know, one of my favorite books is a book called Blue Ocean Strategy. And in this book, they talk about how you have 2 different environments. You have a red ocean environment, which is a fiercely competitive market. That's where everybody is fighting over the same market share. And of course, it creates kind of a bloody, murky water, so to speak, which is why they refer to it as a red ocean. And then you have a blue ocean. And a blue ocean is where there is no competition because you've changed the game. You're the category creator. And I'll tell you, the network marketing industry, to me, has become somewhat of a red ocean. It's a fantastic business model, but there are so many companies that are out there that are marketing the same types of products. Everybody has the best skincare product in the world. Everybody has the best weight loss product in the world. Everybody has the best nutrition and juices. But I'll tell you what, when I looked at this, I saw a complete blue ocean. We continued to evaluate the opportunity over the course of a couple of weeks. And I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just couldn't stop thinking about Hilo. In fact, I came out, I woke up, and I sat down at my kitchen table, and I pulled out my phone, and literally I started to write names on a piece of paper. And my wife came out about 4:30 in the morning, and she says, Travis, what are you doing? And I said, it's this Hilo. I can't stop thinking about it. And I'll tell you what, we got involved in this business on February 13th, and it has just been unbelievable what has been happening. And so I have to start off by just giving my thanks to Mr. Mike Sims, who has joined us here tonight. In fact, I'd like to go ahead and just bring him on the line here real quickly. But let me make sure that I introduce you to him properly. He is one of the a handful of presidential millionaires in this company. Mike has earned somewhere in the neighborhood of about $20 million in the network marketing industry. And I'll tell you, he is someone that Summer and I met at an event about 4 years ago. And when I saw him speak, I just knew that this was someone that I wanted to surround myself with. And I'm very fortunate to call him a friend and a mentor. So Mr. Mike Sims, how are you, my brother?
I'm doing phenomenal. How you doing?
And I could not be any better. So listen, before we get into the presentation tonight, listen, you have been wildly successful in this industry. You could go anywhere. You could do anything. Tell me why this opportunity got your attention.
Wow, I tell you, Travis, we could spend an entire hour on that alone. When I took a look at this company, I wasn't even looking. But as I continue to peel back the layers of World Global Network and actually looking for reasons not to do or get involved in this company, the more and more layers I peel back, the more and more excited I got about the opportunity. And so there's several things that are all coming together here to create the phenomenal opportunity of World Global Network is. And you mentioned, one of the things you mentioned already is, of course, that we're in an industry inside of the network marketing space that's virtually untapped. And even outside of the network marketing space, as people will see tonight, we offer a product that has no competition whatsoever. There's nobody even close to doing what we're doing. And then, of course, when you take a look at all the other factors surrounding or in the world today, I mean, right now there's a serious need for entrepreneurship. And so you take the best entrepreneurship model in network marketing, and then you marry that with health and wellness, and we're going to talk about in just a second about the product itself. You put these things together, you got what I call the perfect storm to go out and create an incredible business. So I'm excited. I'm the most excited I've been in my 17-year career now, but I'm more excited for the brand new person on this webinar tonight that, I'm guarantee you at some point in everybody's life, you pray for an opportunity. And tonight you're going to get a chance to see that opportunity that you've likely been praying for. And we pray that you recognize the opportunity after we're finished.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mike. I hope you'll stick with us through the presentation. We're going to be going back. I've got a couple of questions for you here a little later on in the presentation. The next person that I want to introduce to you all is somebody who I've recently just met. In fact, I met him in Bangkok, Thailand. And he is somebody who has been a CEO of a company that's done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. Every time I listen to him speak, he speaks at a different level. He's the consummate professional. He is a grand president in this company, and his organization's on fire right now. And I've really enjoyed getting to know him, learning from him, working side by side with him. And it's just been a real privilege and honor to be able to get to know this gentleman. Mr. William Faucette, are you on the line, my brother?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. So listen, tell me, there's so many people. Why is there over 135 people that are on here on a Wednesday night on this presentation to hear about this thing that we call World Global Network? I mean, why do you think that there's so?
Well, I think that the opportunity is simply one whose time has come, and I definitely want to echo what you've said thus far, as well as Mike, in that the folks who are looking at this opportunity, ultimately it's just a vehicle. It helps you get from where you are to where you want to go. And in my case, when I did my due diligence and did the analysis, I was blessed to be able to deal on a fairly high level with other top corporate executives in the industry. And I didn't find anything that compared to World. First of all, the product, it's so refreshing to be able to lead with the product, and people will hear about that in just a moment. And of course, the leadership and their vision, and for me, the global opportunity. So I looked at a category creator, as I believe you said earlier, and being able to move from the consumer to the producer side in that market. And I believe because of that and some other factors, which we're going to go over here tonight, I believe that this is the greatest opportunity that I've seen in my lifetime. So certainly anyone who's looking at this and looking to have, be, or do more, this truly can be the blessing for them that Mike indicated.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, William. I appreciate that. What we're going to do here, and I've got one more guest I want to introduce you, but I want to go ahead and first and foremost, before we get started, I want to just start with our income disclosure for everybody. So let's jump into that here.
Results will vary, as we are all unique and different. Basically, it takes hard work to make a substantial income in this business, and some people will make no money at all. The earnings of a World Global Network partner will be 100% dependent upon their skills, work effort, commitment, leadership capabilities, and market conditions. Common sense would suggest that in most opportunities, one would find exceptional individuals performing well above average, while others perform under the average. World Global Network does not guarantee any level of income or your success. To see our full income disclosure, please visit our website at www.worldgn.com.
I love that we start with that because, there's a lot of companies that I've been a part of that, they're all about the get rich quick. And let me just tell you something. This isn't get rich quick, but it is get rich possible. But it requires hard work, smart work, dedication, and commitment. This is a business just like any other business. And I want to bring onto the line my next guest. This gentleman I also met in Bangkok, Carter. And I can tell you that, there are some people that you just meet and they're instantly just brothers. And this guy, he and I met in Bangkok, Thailand. And first of all, let me just tell you, he has earned millions of dollars in this industry. He's a professional speaker. He and his wife have spoken on some of the largest stages in the world. He is a double president in the company. But I'll tell you, for me, he is just somebody that instantly was a dear friend of mine. And Steve, tell me how you feel when we play this income disclosure and why it's so important that we do and how that separates us from the competition that's out there.
Well, I think it puts a reality. First of all, Travis, I want to just say it's always a pleasure to collaborate with you. And then the fact that we've got Mike Sims, we've got William Faucette, the caliber of leadership that we have on this team is second to none. So I want to first just commend you for even having the idea to bring all of us on, because it's a little non-traditional in terms of how we normally do it, because so many individuals that are on our team have the leadership capabilities to knock a meeting out by themselves. But for you to have the insight to say, hey, let's bring the top leaders on the panel and let people hear from a couple different personalities, but all top leaders in our own right. I want to just commend you for that, man. You've been the consummate professional. And I also want to echo what you said. We got a chance to really become brothers in Thailand. And it's amazing because now that's a friendship that'll never end. We're brothers for life, no matter what. No, it doesn't have anything to do with companies. But let me just say this. The income disclosure is so critically important because I think our industry in and of itself is one of the most misunderstood industries in business. So many times you hear people say things like, well, that's a pyramid. And a lot of times when those things are thrown out, they don't really understand what that means. They don't understand that there's nothing illegal about goods and services being rendered through this model. Nothing illegal about that. It's only when money's exchanging hands and there are no goods and services being rendered. The other side of that, which really answers your question about the disclosure, is that we don't want people even thinking that we're selling some get rich overnight deal. And I will tell you this, it never happens overnight, but it happens solidly when you build it. And not only will it happen solidly, but it's something that will continue to pay you ongoing. It's something that we like to say it becomes autopilot. And the last thing I'll say, Travis, and I want to turn it right back over to you, is this. For the first time, I want everybody to really understand. Mike mentioned it early on. There's not another company that has a product like this. And when you think about as human beings, sometimes we do things that may not be of the most intelligence, but we look back on it and realize how it wasn't that intelligent because technology is constantly growing, but this maybe should have been something that people put emphasis on a while ago. And I'll give you an example. Not one of us would step into our cars and get in if the dashboard didn't work. If the indicator lights on that dashboard did not work, we wouldn't drive it. And it's because we want to know when the gas is low. We want to know if the engine is hot. We want to know if the oil is low. We want to make sure the person behind us knows we're making a left turn, so we turn on our signal. And that's because the indicators let you know what's going on with that vehicle. And so it's very important to have that. But how much more important is it for us to have indicator lights for what's going on in the most precious temple, which is our body? And we haven't had that until this device was created. So I call this a body dashboard. And this is something that 24/7, you'll talk about the product, but you walk around with something that's stylish on your wrist, and you can always know what's going on in your body just in case something's wrong, or just in case you may not feel something's wrong, but maybe it is. And that is a game changer. I don't know a human being that would not want to know if there was some sort of an issue inside of them. And I think we have a product that absolutely solves that problem. And there's no other company right now doing it, let alone no other companies that have a compensation plan for all of us to make the kind of money that we know we're inevitably going to make. So I'll turn it back over to you, brother. I'm excited to be in business with you and William and Mike and all the other leaders. This is the beginning of something special. Mike said it best. It's the perfect storm. We got 3 industries merging: network marketing, health and wellness, and technology. Game over. Back to you.
Well said, my brother. Well said. Now, listen, who is World Global Network? Let's get into that. We're a 5-year-old company. We're a publicly traded company, WRMT. I encourage you to go look at the history of what is happening with the stock. The stock is climbing through the roof. The company vision is to be the largest network marketing technology-based company in the world. We're currently in 195 countries with 15 offices worldwide. In 2015, we did $157 million in sales before the Hilo came out. We have a AAA rating on the DSA, ranked number 77 worldwide amongst thousands of direct sales companies. And we are partnered with a tiny little technology company some of you may have heard of called Toshiba. Now listen, whenever I evaluate an opportunity, one of the things that I look at is the people that are running the company. I join people first and companies second. You know, Mr. Fabio Galdi is just, he's one of these guys that he's kind of he's renowned as Steve Jobs 2.0. If you go all the way back to the 90s, he created one of the largest ISP internet providers in Europe. He started a giant company called Mecatech in Singapore, introduced one of the first LCD touchscreen computers to the market in 2002. He developed one of the first successful voice over IP platforms. And now he's innovating not just the network marketing industry, not just the technology industry, he's also disrupting the wellness industry at the same time. And whenever I hear wellness, for me, you know, I get excited because your wealth is your health. And Mike, you've had an opportunity to spend quite a bit of time with Fabio, probably more so than anybody that's on this presentation. You know, what was it about Fabio for you that really impressed you? Because, you know, this is a guy that, just so the people understand, I mean, he travels with an entourage, with security around him. I mean, this guy is no joke. But what was it for you that really impressed you the most?
3 things. Number 1 is integrity. And of course, when you're doing business and you're looking to partner with CEOs, we all know we can all reference stories of companies that were once great, but because of lack of integrity, those companies are now non-existent. And so his integrity is impeccable. He's always looking to do the right things for the sales force. And of course, he treats us accordingly. And for those of you who are looking to get involved in something where you feel special, where you feel wanted, not like corporate America where they're trying to hold you back, this is definitely the environment that you want to be in because they treat us first class. The second thing is his ambition. I think I'm one of the most ambitious individuals on the planet. I'm sure other people on this webinar would argue that they are. But if we're arguing over who's the most ambitious, that means we're going somewhere. And I know Fabio Galdi would love to get into that argument as well over who's the most ambitious. And of course, when you think about ambition, you think about someone that's continuously striving to get better, striving to do more, striving to be the best. He has a goal to be the #1 company in this profession, in the industry of network marketing, be one of the #1 technology companies in the world. And he has a clear game plan of how to go out and accomplish that. And then the third thing, which is correlated to ambition, is vision. And of course, we all know the quote about vision. If you lack vision, you will perish. And one of the things that I wanted to know when I got started with this company was the vision, not only about what we see today, but was it long term? And he's more than answered that question. I was just with him this past Saturday. And again, he just really expanded my vision again. I don't know if he can even get any bigger, but it continues to get bigger every time I have a conversation with him. And so we have a world-class company right now, but the best is truly yet to come. So what does all that mean for everybody on the line tonight? It means you're in the right place at the right time, and you've got your wagon, or potentially you'll have your wagon hooked to the right person with integrity, ambition, and vision.
Love it. You know, one of the things that I'm always looking for are indicators that the company is on the move, right? There's nothing worse than going to a company that is stale. There's no momentum, and it's really up to you to create that momentum. And so, you know, if you look at what's happening with this company right now, there are tons of indicators. We were voted as the ambassador of network marketing in 2016, ranked number 77 among tens of thousands of network marketing companies last year. We have a AAA rating. We have the top CEO 2 years in a row, or top 10 CEO. We have the number 4 most visited website in the world, top 100 momentum company. I would dare say that we are number 1 in the world right now. We have 10% of the top income earners in the world. And just last week, ladies and gentlemen, we were voted the number 1 product in all of network marketing. To put this into perspective, if there's 10,000 network marketing companies, there's hundreds of thousands of products. And we were voted the number 1 product by an independent third party, Business for Home, last week. So that should give you an idea of what's going on. And then the stock, William, talk to me about the stock, because this stock opened in January at 9 cents a share. And if I'm correct, just a day or two ago, it was over $24 a share. How does that happen? Mr. William Faucette, tell me how that happens, brother. How does the stock go from 9 cents to 24 cents in such a short period of time?
Absolutely. It's simply a concept that the market hasn't seen before. You know, the company, as you'll describe, I'm sure for everyone shortly, the company has some innovations that as of yet have not been available. One I'll just hit on very quickly is for those who need to test their blood glucose levels. We have the first commercially available non-invasive blood glucose testing coming this year. And I was speaking with someone earlier today. I was describing this concept without realizing that she is pre-diabetic. And so she told me that she has to test her blood sugar level 3 or 4 times a day, and pointed out how revolutionary this would be. So it's innovations like that that are truly driving the stock price, and of course the opportunity for us as well.
Yeah. Well, and that's a very exciting thing. I mean, just to continue to see where the stock is going, and it's only the beginning. And you talk about glucose, you know, William, 1 in 10 people in the world today are diabetics, and they're still, like you said, pricking their finger 3 or 4 times a day to test their blood sugar. Imagine a parent being able to send their child to school, and that child being a diabetic and having a device that reads their blood sugar every 30 minutes, every hour, every 2 hours, however you program it. And then information is being sent back to the parent or guardian. And if for any reason their blood sugar was too high or too low, it would notify them and let them know that there is a problem. That literally is disrupting the wellness industry. You know, William, there's a lot of skeptics out there. I mean, how is that even possible? I mean, you know, there's no way that a device like this could literally read blood sugar. I mean, is that really real? Is that technology truly going to be able to monitor blood sugar?
Well, I think that one of the things that impressed me, you asked Mike what was impressed him about Fabio Galdi. For me, one of the things was that he is basically not only the architect of the company and the opportunity, but the architect of the technology. In other words, he's a scientist. So as you said, Steve Jobs 2.0, when I met him, I described him as almost a combination between Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, who was his partner, who actually created the technology. So the company's on the cutting edge of this technology, and as you said it best, you know, we've partnered with Toshiba, which has thoroughly vetted the company. And when I was considering aligning with World, even as analytical as I can be, I recognize that I probably can't do the due diligence as well as a $50 billion company like Toshiba. So the technology is absolutely there, and it's very exciting. It's imminent in that we will be able to market it.
Well, thank you, William. I appreciate that. You know, one of the things that I'm also looking at when I evaluated this opportunity was the market trends. You know, I want to know, one of a success formula, Mr. Steve Carter, that I subscribe to is if you want to make a lot of money, just figure out where people are going. And when I started to hear where the technology trends are going, I was absolutely blown away. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think when you look at the numbers, I mean, I've always said whenever I do this presentation here, Travis, I almost sarcastically say, but it's a lot of truth in that this slide alone, this one right here that you have up, we could do an entire presentation on that slide. Yeah. And it's because you don't have to really understand that bottom right-hand corner that says it will change your life whether you know it or not, or whether you like it or not. And here's the thing, is when you can see a window of time that experts are projecting, not just individuals, but we're talking companies, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Time Magazine, that are saying that in the next 2.5 years, that the revenue is going to increase by $20 billion. It's going to go from 14 billion, which was last year, 2016, to 34 billion by 2020. And that's less than 2.5 years from now. That's a huge amount of revenue that's going to flow through. And here's the thing, it's going to happen whether any of us on this line know about it or not. Because up until Mike called me, Mike Sims also was the one that called me. Up until I got that phone call, I did not have a wearable tech device on my wrist, but 123 million other people did. But now knowing that it's going to go to 411 million and create that $20 billion of additional revenue, which, by the way, if we really think about what $1 billion is, it's 1,000 millions. So 20 of those, 20,000 millions, is coming through in the next 2.5 years. And the only company that any of us are aware of that has some sort of a compensation plan for the everyday person like us is World Global Network. Fitbit, Garmin, Samsung, none of them have a comp plan to pay us. They'll pay their shareholders, but none of us can get paid by those companies. And so I'm excited that we're fourth on the list in terms of how many sales we've already done. And we're right behind these giants, and we're actually running them down and going to catch them and pass some of them up. So I'm excited about the timing and being on the front end of this trend that's taking place.
Well, and really what that means for those of you that are listening in tonight is that if you were to pick up your phone right now and you were to reach out to every single person in your phone and ask them if they've heard of the Hilo, 99% of them are going to say no. A year from now, a large majority of them are going to say otherwise, and that's what creates this opportunity. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. So listen, let's talk a little bit about World Global's goal. Our goal is to capture 3% of the wearable device market by 2020. That means that we will sell 12 million devices, which puts us at a $3 billion company with a $10 billion market cap. Now, to get to 3 billion, I want everyone to understand how big this is. Doing those kind of numbers really puts us in the top 10 in all of the network marketing companies that are out there today. And most of those companies that are there have been around 20, 30 years. These are companies that you have all heard of. And what's exciting about that, and let me just tell you this, I've been a part of other companies where I've heard owners say, we're going to $1 billion, we're going to $1 billion. It's kind of a cliche thing to say in the industry. But the reason why I'm very confident that that is going to happen is because we've already sold over 500,000 devices sold worldwide in the last year during a pre-launch, doing nothing other than sharing a little 2-minute video to give you an idea of the impact that we have had in this industry. We already own 5.3% of the market share of all of the sales around the world in the wearable device industry. For us to be able to accomplish our goal of selling 12 million units and hitting $3 billion, as we only need to own 1.3% of the entire market share. Because we already own 5%. We're number 4, Fitbit's number 1, Garmin number 2, Samsung number 3. By the end of this year, we will be number 2 in the world. So let me ask everybody a question. First question is, are you familiar with Fitbit, yes or no? I'm talking about Fitbit, calculates calories and steps. They started in 2008. They sold 20 million devices in 2015, and they're worth $8 billion today. So the next question is knowing what you know today about Fitbit, if you could go back in time and be one of the first to get involved, and you could get paid on every single device that's sold anywhere in the world, would you have done it, yes or no? Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to imagine that literally as little as 7 months ago here in North America, we are first ever to revolutionize the healthcare industry, the technology industry, the home-based business industry. This is a Fitbit that is on steroids. There literally is no competition. Hilo stands for Health and Lifestyle Oracle. And if you haven't had a chance yet to see what this device does, Sit back and enjoy.
Introducing Helo, the world's first health and lifestyle oracle, a real-time health monitoring device with disease prediction. Unlike any other wearable device on the planet, Helo can monitor the most important measurements, including heart rate, blood pressure, breath rate, daily steps, calories burned, and Helo can even perform an EKG. Helo can also sense your mood if you're excited or even if you're fatigued. Paired with the latest smartphone application, you can now track the health and well-being of your loved ones. Imagine being able to monitor your aging parents even if you're thousands of miles away, or getting an alert if your spouse's blood pressure is too high. Helo not only monitors your important measurements, but it produces a daily, weekly, and monthly health report that you can provide to your trainer or physician. In the near future, Helo will be able to monitor blood sugar levels, alcohol levels in our blood, oxygen levels, temperature, and even keep disease-delivering mosquitoes away. But Helo is more than the world's most advanced health monitoring device. Helo can also alert you if your loved ones are in danger. Unfortunately, more and more women and children go missing each day, according to the FBI. With Helo, a child walking home from school can now press the panic button twice, and his or her Helo guardians can be sent an emergency alert via text, notifying their guardians that they need help. And what's amazing is that the guardians will get the exact GPS location of their loved one. Let's take a look at another scenario. What if you're taking a walk around your neighborhood and you sense danger lurking? Having that peace of mind to simply alert your loved ones can be a lifesaver. Now that you've seen the power of this revolutionary product, I'm positive you're ready to order one for you and your family members. However, Helo is not found in stores. Helo can only be purchased online. So click on the Buy It Now link or fill out our form to get more information about the Helo right now.
So let me tell you what I thought when I first saw this. So the first thought in my mind was, this is extremely relevant. This is a product that I could see myself wearing. This is a product that I could see many of my friends wearing. I started to think about, my father, who is in his late 60s, and I thought, this is something that he really needs. And I started to think about my brother, high blood pressure. This is something that he should be wearing. Started to think about my children. I got a little emotional, and the emotional side kicked in a little bit. And I thought about my mother, who we lost last year, and she died of a heart attack. And although there were some other health complications, I still believe that having something like this that is giving us information and allowing us to be able to understand what's going on in our body. Let me put this into simple terms for you. It's no different than if you're driving down the road in your car and the check engine light comes on. It tells you that there's a problem. You need to go get it checked out before there's further damage done. Well, doesn't it just make sense to everyone on here that we have a device that's monitoring the most important vitals in our body? And if there is a problem, it's going to tell you there is a problem before it is too late. And that is exactly what this product does. It is the most advanced wearable device in the world today. And not only that, but it will allow you to remotely monitor the people that you love and care about most. I can look at my phone right now and tell you what my grandmother's heart rate, breath rate, and her mood is in Las Vegas. And I'm sitting here in Arizona. So imagine being able to, I was on the phone the other day with someone who her husband had a heart attack, and since then they've had a stroke, and they've had a very difficult time getting the blood pressure under control at that point. And she said, Travis, this is a godsend to me because it allows me to be able to monitor and keep an eye on him. And if for some reason he leaves or I leave and I'm not with him, it just gives me peace of mind. It is the world's first device to have disease predictability, the world's first device that allows you to remotely monitor other ones. And then you have this SOS feature. Anybody that has a child understands the power of this particular feature. If your children were ever in trouble, they can push that little button and it will send an SOS notice, a panic notice to you, letting you know that they're in trouble and tell you exactly where they're at. We actually tested this with somebody driving down the freeway the other day, and it told us exactly where they were on the freeway. And it's not just for children. We have real estate boards of associations that are now telling their realtors in their training to get a Helo and wear it. Why? Because they're out out showing homes every single day to complete strangers. They're sitting there, in homes by themselves doing open houses, and strangers are coming in and out all day long. So it adds an added layer of protection. And then, of course, going back to my 84-year-old grandmother who is widowed, lives on her own, if something were to happen, if she were to fall down, she has the ability to be able to push that button and immediately notifies people that they are in trouble. William, tell me a little bit about these health-enhancing stones for a moment, because I didn't know that much about germanium until I got involved in the company. I started to do some research, and I was pretty blown away with what germanium will do for your body. So do you mind just kind of talking a little bit about that? I love listening to how you describe what this germanium can do for someone.
Well, absolutely. Like you, I wasn't very familiar with germanium either. However, I've learned that it is very well known in circles of people who are interested in maintaining optimum health. It does a number of things in the body. It's an antioxidant, it's an element. And one of the most significant is that it increases blood circulation, which ultimately also increases blood oxygenation. And so that's very exciting. When I met with Fabio Galdi, one of the things he said was that germanium is a huge portion, or has huge potential as it relates to the helo, because you can find germanium bands that cost more than the helo itself. And the fact that we have all the features of the helo that you've gone over, all those that are coming that you will go over, but we also have the benefits of the germanium as well. And one of the things Fabio indicated is that he often shows people the power of the helo by putting the blood oxygen level meter on them and testing their blood oxygen level, then putting the helo on, giving it 10 minutes, and showing them how the germanium has increased their blood oxygenation. He said he's never had it go up less than about 2 percentage points. And so it's a huge benefit of the helo. And it's very exciting to know that we'll be able to combine those two features, because in the near future, the helo will measure a blood oxygen level as well. So that will be an increased selling point for the germanium when we can show people the real power of it. And probably the biggest and last thing I'll say is that it simply makes people feel better. The anecdotal information we have, I was talking with a guy the other day who said, I don't know what it does, but I notice a huge difference in aches and pains and just my overall feeling of health when I have it on versus when I don't. So that's probably the best testament we can give to the germanium and the power of the helo with it.
Well, I appreciate that, Will. And for me, I wasn't expecting how many testimonials were going to come in about the germanium. I was thinking strictly just technology. And so the germanium was just an added bonus. And I've been very pleased to see how many testimonials have been coming in. In fact, if you've had a positive response from wearing the germanium, drop an I just in the chat box. I'd be curious to see. I know that we've got a lot of guests that are on tonight from around the world, but I also know that we have a number of team members that are currently here. I'd be curious for anyone that has had a positive response, drop an I over in the chat box. For me, Mike, when I started to look at what this product does and some of the competition that was out there. I looked at the Samsung Gear, the Apple Watch, they're tracking steps, calories, and sleep. But this really has our device has taken things to an entirely different level. And, we've been featured on Fox News. We've been featured all over the place. Tell me a little bit about, your thoughts because people always ask me, well, what's going to happen when some of these other companies start hearing that you're doing some of these things? What's going to keep them just from knocking you off? Or what's going to keep Apple or somebody from just coming out and doing the same thing? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I would say those are genuine concerns. Those are concerns that I asked when I first got started in the company as well, being that technology changes so quickly. And also myself personally being a venture capitalist and angel investor in the tech space, I understand how fast it moves. And so that's the first question. One of the first questions I asked Fabio Galdi and Antonio De Rosa, who has a background in developing products or helping develop the concepts for products like the Apple Watch and iPhone 6 and 7. And I asked them, what's your plan to keep up with competition or technology? And they said, Mike, you don't know us that well. And they actually were standing up and they sat back down and said, you hadn't seen anything yet. That should be the last of your concerns, is can we keep up with competition? And they reminded me, we're first to market with what we're doing. That people of competition will be chasing us, trying to figure out what we're doing, trying to come behind us. I read an article the other day, and I actually sent it to Fabio, that I saw about Stanford University doing research and using algorithms to detect issues with the heart. And Fabio said, hey, they're behind us because we're already working on that stuff. And so, all these different things are legitimate concerns until you know. And now you all know that this company, again, that long-term vision is there. We got a product that will be not only be here, but continue to get better as time goes by, and it will continue to evolve and keep up with competition.
I love that. Listen, I want to read a testimonial that just was so impressive to me. It was by Dr. Philip Lowe, and this is what he wrote. He says, if you've noticed I've gone off the radar for the past 2 days, I was admitted to the hospital for heart attack, and I wanted to share my experience with you. On Friday morning, I was not feeling well. I took an ECG reading on my helo at close to noontime. The reading said abnormal. I wasn't putting much attention to it, as I thought it was due to the heavy work and stress that I had had for the past couple of days. At about 2 p.m., I began to feel uncomfortable. I took another reading, and I noticed this time, not only did my ECG said abnormal, but my blood pressure had gone up, and my heart rate was at 130. I called my fiance to immediately send me to the closest hospital, and at the emergency gate, I collapsed. I was treated immediately, and doctors and nurses managed to revive me. It says, at the hospital, the heart specialist came to me after all the ECG and blood tests, told me I was lucky to come in on time. Lucky to come in on time, and any minute later would have been in a very dangerous situation. When I first looked at my ECG reading on my helo with the result of abnormal, I should have just dropped whatever I was doing and went for a medical checkup rather than wait for the second reading. To those of you who are wearing your helo, please do your regular ECG check, and most importantly, trust your helo. And for my friends who are not wearing a helo, you must get one for yourself, and especially for your parents. I am not pursuing you to buy something that is not necessary. I'm telling you that you need to own your own life-saving device. Powerful testimonial. Of course, this was revealed, and one of the things that excites me so much about this opportunity is the timing. This was just revealed in North America in January at the Consumer Electronic Event, or the Consumer Electronics Show, which is the largest consumer electronic event in the world. Hundreds of thousands of people are in attendance there. And at that event, of course, Toshiba has a presence, right? Toshiba, 100-year-old, $55 billion company. And Mr. Steve Carter, what was the product that they shared this year at that event? I mean, they could have, Toshiba's involved in all kinds of different things. So what was the product they decided to reveal at this trade show?
It was the helo.
Hold on. So Toshiba, right? We're talking about the same company. I mean, this is Mega Toshiba. They've been around a long time. What are they doing in the network marketing industry? Why are they here?
I tell people all the time, Travis, when you have a 100-year-old company that's worth $55 billion, and they're in the tech space, and initially, what a lot of people don't know, and I know you know this, Travis, but they initially wanted to purchase the helo and buy it out from Fabio, and Fabio refused, and they ended up agreeing to do a partnership. So I think that speaks volume in the fact that they wanted to have it as their own. And Fabio saw the value enough to say, oh, no, we can share this because you all bring value as well. So just to have a handshake and a partnership. The other thing I always say, Travis, is that it to me, this is the way I think, it should minimize the amount of due diligence that the everyday person says they have to go do. And I don't say that disrespectfully, because we want people to feel comfortable and not feel like they're walking into something blindly. But when you really weigh it out, if somebody tells me they need to go do their due diligence, my thought is always, do you think that Toshiba had the kind of legal team to totally dissect and check this thing out? And after they did so, decided to move forward and do business with us. I think those attorneys, and I think the legal team that surrounds this 100-year-old, $50 billion company, I think their legal team can do a little more due diligence than any one of us. So I sometimes stay in my lane, and that was just validation for me that this is real.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And not only do they have those attorneys, but they have probably some of the top engineers in the world that are looking at the efficacy and the accuracy and the legitimacy of this product, because they wanted to know, does it really work? So for those of you that are on here, what would you say, Steve, to those of you that are like, does this thing do what it really says it can do? What would you say to them?
I think that Toshiba would have passed on the deal had it not proven that it does do what it does. Yeah. And, you know, we've had so many different testimonies as well, based on people that are in the medical field, whether they're nurses or doctor assistants, people that end up taking our blood pressure on a real hospital version machine. And then when we simply tell them, well, let me check it on my helo. And their first question is, what's a helo? They don't even know what it is. And so when we check it and then we get the results, many times, more than not, they're shocked. And I had one young lady just recently, because I personally did it. I went in for a physical about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was only about 4 points difference. And the young lady told me, which was knowledge to me, I didn't know this part because I'm not in the medical field, but the nurse said to me, she said, listen, that is amazing. And I said, well, I was hoping that it was going to be spot on. She said, no, you don't understand. Anything within 10 points is accurate. And I said, whoa, I didn't know that. She said, oh no, we would look at that as accurate if it's within 10 points. And ours was only 4 points off, I think, on the top number, and like 3 points off on the bottom number. And so ever since that time she told me that, I said to myself, you know, this is powerful that I can set my parameters to say, if my readings go beyond a 10-point spread, I want to be notified instantly, as well as my wife. And so technology is incredible.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Of course, you know, we're not just, the thing about this company is yes, the helo is the story, but they're innovating in a number of different areas. There's all kinds of different products. You know, Biozen is another product that's absolutely amazing. You know, you guys remember back in the day, they used to say, don't stand in front of the microwave because it's probably putting off harmful rays or some type of frequency that's damaging for you. Well, they were right. In fact, it's now proven that all electrical devices put off an electronic magnetic frequency, EMFs, also referred to as electrosmog, that's actually damaging. I mean, if you look, just looking at the blood after being on a cell phone for just a few minutes, it actually starts to clump together, and you can see just with the Biozen protection how it looks healthy. What Biozen does is it has a little chip that you can put a little sticker, and I'll show you. I can show it right here on my phone. You can put these on the back of all of your electrical devices. I'm talking about your smartphone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop computer, routers, and it blocks those EMFs, and it's gonna help keep those damaging frequencies from damaging your DNA. And I want everyone to think about this for a moment. Do you want your children, right? Do you want your 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old? You know, it doesn't matter. Do you want them sitting there with an iPad or a laptop in their lap, knowing that it's putting those damaging electrosmog coming off of those devices? Or let me give you a different perspective. I read somewhere the other day that said that the average millennial spends on average 7 hours per day on the phone. And if you add in multitasking, it's 9 hours per day. And I would say that we're not much better. We're just sitting in front of computers or what have you. So I feel very good about the fact that, you know, occasionally when my 5-year-old son is sitting there on his little iPad playing his little games, or you know, the kids are on their phones, we've got these little green stickers that are on the back of each one of our phones. So I feel very good about that. And we also are coming out with, in the very near future, a cellular phone that is the first cellular phone in the world that has the electrosmog technology that's actually built in. And I'm going to give you guys just a little sneak peek. And the main reason why I'm doing this is because I want you to understand just the level of innovation that this company is on right now. Telling you, it's just a good looking phone. And they've got a lot of other products. You know, Mike talked a little bit about it earlier on. You know, one of the biggest challenges we have right now is there's so much to introduce, there's so much to talk about. It's difficult to convey it all in a presentation. But what I do know is that they're working on things not just for next year or the year after, but we're literally working on things already for 2020. And that's something that really excites me. Now, Mr. Sims Worldwide, I can't think of anybody better to talk about this slide. You know, one of the things that was very important to me was just the fact that we can do business around the world. And when I saw 195 countries, I was like, come on, man, there's no way. Talk to me a little bit about this and why is this important?
It's important because, you know, as I think it was Warren Buffett that said years ago, if you're not generating income while you're sleeping, then you're guaranteed to work until you die. And of course, there's several ways to be able to create that type of leverage. Number one is leverage of people, and we do that through the network marketing profession. And of course, the next way is leverage of money, and then of course, leveraging of time. And one ways we leverage time is by building a worldwide organization. And I know tonight we got individuals on this webinar from Australia and Indonesia and other countries from all around the world. So when we go to bed at night, other parts of the world are still up and rolling. And so, again, it's a great way to be to generate an income while you're sleeping. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to build a worldwide business. There's no country virtually that we can't go into. And the ones that we can't go into, there are reasons why we don't want to go into them anyway. And so, you know, again, it's a huge opportunity to go out and build a true worldwide business and leverage time zones.
I love it. And it's a seamless economy. You know, at the end of the day, it's a seamless economy. And when you have a product that evokes a positive emotional experience at this level, to the point where when literally somebody watches that 2-minute video and they're immediately prompted, they're already thinking, "Ooh, I need to share this with my mom or my dad," and they're already firing this video off. What it does is it creates an effect that I refer to as velocity marketing. And that is when you have a product or an idea that goes from no one knowing about it to everyone knowing about it in a very short period of time. And that is what truly is creating such a magical experience. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about just the income earners here. And I want to preface this by saying that network marketing, the best thing about network marketing is that there is nobody that's determining your value. There's nobody that's saying, here, we're going to pay you X dollars per hour, or we're going to pay you this salary. Or, you know what, if you work here for a certain amount of years, then you'll automatically qualify for a raise, or any of those things. You get paid based on the value that you bring to the table. Get a little bit of feedback. Sorry, guys. So if you're one of the speakers and you're not speaking right now, if you wouldn't mute, I'd appreciate it. Or if you can mute, I'd appreciate it. You're getting paid based on the value that you bring to the table. And, you know, when I started to see what was happening here, look, I'm a professional. Amateurs run around and say, look, my comp plan's better than your comp plan. But I'm just going to tell you guys, I've never seen anything like this in my life before. You know, this company has broken over 600 diamonds in the last 6 months. I've been in companies where, you know, we broke in maybe 10 in a year, and that was a pretty good deal. You know, they all got celebrated on stage at the end of the year. But 600, the average diamond's making anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 per week. Now, you can go to cnworldgn.com and you can get the full income disclosure. We're not guaranteeing you any income, but what I will tell you is that there are people that are here, like Nat and Shanita, who are pictured here, who are earning over $1.2 million per month, ladies and gentlemen. Chad and Natita Chong, they got involved literally in the fall of last year, and they're earning over $750,000 per month. Mr. Ramasio Fulcher, $263,000 a month. Jeremy Rome, $141,000 a month. My personal sponsor, you just heard from him here a moment ago, literally, Mr. Mike Sims, over $116,000 per month, ladies and gentlemen. He's in the top 200 earners in the entire world of network marketing. My personal experience, we got involved in this company on February 13th. I literally have not left my home other than to travel where I wanted to travel, when we wanted to travel, and who I wanted to travel with. But I can tell you guys, I haven't had any home parties. I haven't had to invite my friends and my family members and my friends over from church, mixing up some banana-flavored shakes and telling them a story. I have literally done nothing other than share a 2-minute video and plug those that wanted more information into a presentation like this. And folks, we are earning an income of over $15,000 per week, and we just got started 4 months ago. Now, I want to say this again. This is not get rich quick. Most of the people that are on this list have been in this industry. They've paid their dues. They've put in their time. But what it should show you is the potential that is available here in this company. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how you fit into the equation. I've learned long ago that if you can position yourself in the beginning stages of a company that has all of the signs of becoming one of the next giants in the industry, there's a tremendous amount of money that can be made. We've just talked about all of the reasons why we have become the #1 momentum company in the world. Folks, there's barely over 7,000 active distributors here in North America right now. 7,000 active distributors. I want you to think about that. 10,000 customers. Again, that means that no one you know is involved in this company. So how can you get involved? There's a couple of different ways that you can get involved. The first option basically is what I call a customer or a customer with benefits. If you want to buy the product, here's a great option for you. You can go buy the product. It's called a box set. You get a helo, which is fantastic. You get the germanium plate set that Will was talking about. You get a free colored band kit, which is worth $120 because you've come in on the box set. This is fantastic for somebody that maybe just wants to wear it, share it. They want to just refer people casually to the company. You can get paid a 10% first order bonus, literally just by referring people to the company. You can go out and build a small team. It's a great place for those of you that literally just kind of want to dip your toe in the water and you want to use the product. For those of you that are looking to build a business, we have what we describe as kind of a small business builder. It's $1,349 one time. And what this does is you get 4 helos, you get 4 germanium plate sets, you also get 4 band packs for free, and you get 4 of those BioZin protections as well. So there's a tremendous amount of value in this pack. And one of the things that's really helped me is the fact that I do have a little bit of extra inventory, because you know what? One of the things that I love to do is when somebody gets started on they get started in my business, I don't want them to wait for the product to arrive. We've been averaging right at about 2 to 3 weeks right now for shipping. And so I don't want them to wait that long. I want to be able to say, here you go, here's your device, just pay me back when your product arrives in the mail. Why? Because they can start wearing that product tomorrow. So this is an excellent place to start. And then, of course, we have the premium pack. And these are for those people that are saying, look, if I'm going to treat this like a business, or if I'm going to do this, I'm going to treat it like a business because I want to get paid like a business. I was having a conversation with an attorney a realtor the other day, and this individual has been involved in the company for not too long at all, maybe just about 4 weeks. And they were saying, I just don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I have time for it. I haven't really had any success. And I asked him a question. I says, well, listen, how many calls have you been on? How many events have you attended? And they says, well, I really haven't gotten on any of the calls or the events because I've just been pretty busy with my traditional business. I says, okay, what do you do? They says, I'm a realtor. I said, okay, so let me ask you a question. When you went out and you got your real estate license, did that cost money? And the person says, well, yeah, of course it did. And I said, okay, so I'm assuming that it also took a little bit of time that you had to study to be able to get that license. And they said, absolutely, it did. And I said, okay, now I imagine that once you got that license, though, you immediately started to make money. That license guarantees that you're going to start generating income. They're like, oh, no. From there, I have to go out and I have to start promoting myself and marketing myself. And I says, really, how did you learn how to do that? They says, well, I had to go and I had to start, emulating and learning from people that are having the kind of success that I want to have. And I says, really, what else? They says, well, my broker puts on a weekly virtual call that we can plug into. There's weekend seminars and events that are happening all the time. And I says, okay, so do you do well now with your real estate? They says, absolutely, I do. And I says, would you say that it's because you treat it like a business? And they said, you know what? Yes, I do. I take it very seriously. And I says, well, listen, you and I aren't that different because I treat my business very seriously as well. In fact, I make a plan to be on every single call and attend every single event. Now, it doesn't always happen because sometimes life happens and we get busy. I've also spent tens of thousands of dollars over the last 10 years on personal development because I understand that, the more that I pour into myself and my mindset, the more that I have to offer others. And as a result of that, I'm now in the top 0.5% to 1% of the earners in the world in network marketing. The only difference really between you and I is that when I go out or when you go out and sell a home, you've got to now go out and look for another property. Whereas when I build this business one time, it pays me for the rest of my life. And I'm not here to tell you that one is better than the other, but what I am telling you is that if you want to make money here, you need to treat it like a business. And that starts right from the very beginning when you're coming in the door. And so the way I look at this is, I don't know any business that you can get started for $1,349 and go out and create the type of level of income that we are seeing here. And that is something that gets me very excited. And then, of course, we have our BioZin packs. Our BioZin packs, the way I started is I started with a family pack and I started with a BioZin pack because I wanted to be a product of the product. So step number one is to become a team member. Now, Mr. Steve Carter, from there, you got to go out and become a team builder. Would you mind just telling me, I mean, for me to become a team builder, does that mean I got to go door to door and start selling this? Does that mean that I got to start, having parties in my home all over the place? Like, how do I go get 2 people? Like that, I want to understand what I would have to do if I'm looking at getting involved in your business. How are you going to help me go find 2 people?
Well, you said it best, Travis, and that is you haven't left your house in order to actually present the business. And so we use a very simple approach because this is a technology company. We use technology to even pique the person's interest. And I was teaching a young lady earlier today, or sharing my opinion in the fact that whatever process you take someone through, you must understand that you're indirectly training that person that's how it's done. So the simpler you can keep it, the more it's going to duplicate. And so what we've been teaching, and everyone that's had tremendous success in this company teaches, is simply text out a link to the 2-minute video. That is it. And you can throw something on top of it like, hey, Travis, listen, it's been a while since we've spoken. Look, I've got my hands on something absolutely powerful. I'd like to send you a 2-minute video. Take a look at it and let me know if you like what you see. It's an opportunity. I think we can both make money. It can be lucrative for the both of us. Just something as simple as that. And when we give these types of examples, I always like to point out that it takes 10 seconds to type something like that on your smartphone. So if you copy the message and you want to send that to multiple people, I say, get the meat and potatoes of it down and then just dress it up with something personal that might apply just to that person. Never send these out as blast messages to 1,000 people, like to whom it may concern, or, hey, everyone. You never want to do that. You want to just send it to a family member or friend. Hey, I found something powerful. It's a product I'd like you to take a look at. And take a look at this 2-minute video. I always point that out because you want to let them know this isn't going to take long. Take a look at this 2-minute video and tell me if you like what you see. And if you do that with enough people, it's inevitable that you're going to find your 2 people that want to do that.
Yes. Well, and what's so cool is that once you go get those 2 people, you just teach them to do the same thing. And what I love about this, and I want everyone to understand the power of leverage here. Mike said something a little earlier, and I hope that everyone wrote this down. If you didn't, you should, is that if you can't figure out a way to make money when you are sleeping, then you will work until the day you die. Now, that came from Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. And when I first got involved in this industry, I didn't have a lot of time. I was I owned another company. I had 3 young children. I was like, how in the world am I going to have time to go build a business? But here's what I learned, Steve, was that the people that were around me, they weren't that happy. They weren't that satisfied. And so as I just went about my day, having the same interactions, the same conversations, going to work, doing what I normally would do, as I started to pay attention to people, become more acutely aware of the conversations around me, what I found is people that just weren't happy. They were saying things like, oh man, it's Sunday, I got to go back to work tomorrow. Or, you know what, I can't afford to do this, or I can't afford to do that. Or, you know what, work sucks. Or, I don't know what, I'm worried about my job, or whatever the case might be. And so what I would do is I just position myself as the solution. I'd just say, well, listen, maybe I can help. Summer and I, we just started a little side business. We're working on it right now on the side, but I can see how over the course of the next 1 to 2 years where this is going to be paying us a full-time income. And you know what, it may be a good fit for you. It may not. But I'd love to just give you some more information. And just by doing that, I started to attract people that were just like me that wanted more in their life. I want to just do a little experiment here. Everybody that's on this presentation right now, I want you to humor me, but I really want you to do this for me. If you know somebody that's going to go to bed tonight saying a prayer asking for financial solutions, drop an I in the chat box. Somebody that's struggling financially right now, drop an I in the chat box. Somebody that's worried about whether or not they're going to have a job next week, or they're trying to find a job, or they're trying to make ends meet, or put food on the table, or try to figure out how they're going to make their car payment, or come up with their mortgage. If you know somebody that's struggling right now, drop an I in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. We have the solution. This is not sales. This is serving others. And when you start to understand that, and you realize that you have the ability to be able to go out and make a difference, then it puts this in a whole different perspective. And what happened for me was I started to share this because I knew I could help people. And pretty soon, over the course of that year, I went from having a few dozen people to a few hundred people. And guess what? Even though I was only putting a little bit of time into my business, All of those other people were going to work full-time to pay their bills, but in their part-time or spare time, they were working on paying their fortune or building their fortune. And when you added up all of those hours, that created a tremendous amount of leverage. And pretty soon, guess what happens? They go out and tell their friends. They go out and tell their friends. And as they do that, all of that volume that's created, you get paid a little bit of money off of a lot of people that are all just doing a little bit. And that's the power of network marketing, ladies and gentlemen. So again, the key is we're going to go out and start sharing a 2-minute video. For those that want more information, you plug them into a presentation just like this. You don't have to be a presenter like Steve or like Mike or Will or myself or any of the other leaders. All you've got to be able to do is share a 2-minute video and point them in this direction, and that is it. Now, I've got to tell you, one of my favorite parts about this compensation plan is the check matching. Here's how it works. Very simple. Everybody that you personally sponsor, I want you to understand something. My wife and I, we've sponsored close to 100 people in this business. Now, listen, every single one of those people, they're getting a check every single week for their team sales. That's all of the team, the volume that they create. Every week they get a paycheck. And guess what? My wife and I get 10% of that paycheck every single week. That'd be like if you were a manager at, let's say, Costco, and you had 100 people working for you, and every week they get their payroll check. Guess what? You would get 10% of their check matched to you as a bonus just because you're the manager. But corporate America doesn't work that way, but it does here. Now, folks, it doesn't stop there. It goes down a second generation. Once you hit the rank of gold, gold is 4 family packs in your entire team in a week. Then you're picking up a second generation. Not only do I have 90-something people on my first generation, I've got over 200 people on my second generation. My wife and I are presidents in this plan. We're getting paid actually through 4 generations. Folks, that's over 500 or so people. I'm getting paid 5 to 10% of their paycheck every single week. You've got Mr. Mike Sims that's here, who is a presidential millionaire, who is getting paid down through 7 generations. That's thousands and thousands of people in his organization. He's getting paid 5 to 10% of every single one of those paychecks every single week. Now, Mike, do you mind just talking to me about the residual for a moment? Because we can see now where I'm getting some upfront money. I'm bringing people in. I'm making some extra money in commissions pretty quickly. I can see how as my team starts to grow and I start to help other people be successful, I'm starting to generate, up to 20% of those team commissions. But where's that residual, right? That walkaway income that everybody talks about. Talk to me a little bit about the loyalty membership and how this is unique here compared to other companies.
Absolutely. Been involved in network marketing for over 17 years now. Most companies, to operate those companies, there is a tremendous amount of overhead. And if you look into the garages or the closets of a lot of people involved in those companies, you can see where that overhead went. Individuals having to purchase products that they don't need, that they, more products than they can, them and their families can consume. And one of the things that attracted me to this company is the simplicity of the residual income component, and then, of course, the cost value of it as well. There's a tremendous amount of value here to think that we're generating, or people are generating, the type of incomes being generated here, and the only monthly overhead that's available is $59 a month. Is astonishing. It's astonishing. So what does that include? Of course, you get the Hilo app Pro, all the things that Travis and everyone else talked about, being able to monitor family members, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, the ability to be able to store your information because of that cloud storage. And then a protection plan for the Hilo and the Infolio. Infolio is our phone that'll be released in October. So it's a protection plan for both of those devices, which is, of course, if you're like me, and occasionally you drop a phone or you drop the Hilo or damage it in some kind of way, that is something that will be priceless for you. But one of the things that really got me excited was the 75 points, so the points that we get every single month. Every single time we participate in that loyalty membership and we send in $59, the company sends us back $75. Now, I'm a membership, I have memberships in several different places, or stores, etc. And there's no value like this. They don't send me more than I'm paying them. They tell me I get a discount, but that's debatable as well. Here, they're giving me 75 real dollars to use to purchase additional products in the World Global Network product line. That's tremendous. And then last but certainly not least, an additional 1% in commissions. An additional 1%. So on top of the commissions that we're already generating from building the organization. There's an additional 1% available that's paid out to you in the form of a bonus check on a yearly basis. And so there's no way that in the world that I will ever drop my loyalty membership. If I could pay it for 2-3 years up front, I would do so to make sure I don't forget, because of that additional 1% alone. So the loyalty membership is the most tremendous value I've seen in my career in the network marketing profession. I'll turn it back over to you.
Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And, you know, one of the things I was impressed with this loyalty is that, you know, there was a study that came out in the Direct Sales Association not too long ago that talked about the average attrition rate in network marketing is 72%. That means that every year, 72% of the people in your organization are turning their auto shipments off, which means you've got to be growing it 100%, 200, 300% every year just to continue to build that check. And if you take your foot off of the gas, your check is dropping down. But what's exciting here is that we actually have a 78% retention rate. And the reason for that is because when somebody orders that family pack, they're not going to, and it's monitoring their spouse and their children and their loved ones, they're not going to turn that loyalty membership off, especially when you're building up loyalty points. You've got a money box that's in your back office. There's no way that you're going to turn that off. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, the final thing I have to touch on is the high speed, low drag nature of the system. We've been talking about it all night. I know that for those of you that are guests that are on, the number one question that's going through your mind is, could I see myself being successful in this environment? I want you to stop saying to yourself, well, I can't present like these guys. That's not my personality, because you don't have to. Literally, the only thing that you need to be able to do to be successful here is you need to be able to, number one, get enrolled. Number two, you need to be able to send out a video, right? Hey, buddy, would you do me a favor? Would you take a look at this 2-minute video? I want to talk to you a little bit more about it. If I shot this over to you, would you watch it? Let me know what you think. Hey, I just got involved in a technology company. The stock's climbing through the roof. If I sent you over a 2-minute video, would you watch it? Just let me know what you think, right? Just get them in front of the 2-minute video. We have the scripts that are going to teach you exactly how to do that. Your job is to simply follow up. And for those that want more information, as they start to ask you questions, all you do is you plug them into an overview just like this. That's it, guys. And our system, I'm telling you, it has helped over 600 diamonds in the company, 400 in this group in the last 6 months, go diamond, where they're generating, again, an income of anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 per week. I was at an event last week. Some of the things this company is doing absolutely blows your mind. I know that not everybody is turned on just by money, but I can tell you this, we're making a huge difference with this product as well. But we're also making a big difference financially. And I was at an event just this weekend where I watched 3 individuals be given a car by this company, not just any car, 2 Lamborghinis and a Phantom Rolls Royce. Each vehicle was worth over $400,000. They gave them those vehicles, pink slips and all, guys. I'm not talking about car payments. Literally gave those away. And I share that simply because I want to show the generosity of this company and the kind of things that they are doing. So listen, in closing, I want to just talk about opportunities, and I want to talk about position. I learned that every person on this planet will be presented with 1 to 2 opportunities in their lifetime, the type of opportunities that could literally change your life. And, my mentor, Mr. Mike Sims, said one time and that's always stuck with me. He says, don't just pray for an opportunity, or don't pray for financial solutions. Pray to recognize an opportunity when it presents itself. And the challenge is that most people just go through life, and because of skepticism, because of the way that they've just they continue to think the way they've always thought. And as a result of that, they continue to get the results that they've always gotten. If you want different results, then you've got to start thinking a little bit differently. And right now, what I want you to understand is that you have one of the top fastest growing emerging trends in the world today, which happens to be in the technology industry where fortunes are created, with the number 1 product story in that particular space. And only 7,000 people in North America are involved that are currently promoters right now. We are projected to sell over 12 million devices over the course of the next couple of years. We already own 5% of the market share. And you have a chance today to be able to get positioned. Literally, the person that invited you here, you have an opportunity to be able to get positioned in the top of their structure, in the next position that they have available. And the reason why that's so significant, and the reason why that gives you a huge advantage by being here today, is because as soon as you get enrolled and you become a team member, from that point forward, every every single person that comes into that structure will go below you, whether you put them there or not, just by getting positioned. And the exciting thing is let's say that some of those people go out and build a team. Let's say this individual goes and builds a team of 1,000. You earn a percentage off of every single sale that is made. That is leverage, and that is how you create time freedom in your life. I had people that I shared this opportunity with when I first started. I called up some of my friends and I said, listen, I'm just telling you right now, I'm launching a business in the technology industry. I'm going to go create millions of dollars in income in the next couple of years. The people that lock arms with me right now are going to benefit the most from my efforts. And you know what they said? They said, I just don't know. I have to think about it. And they kicked the tires a little bit and they waited. And you know what? They literally have thousands of people that would have been in their team that they would have been getting paid on that are now above them. So ladies and gentlemen, the only responsibility that you have at this point is to get back to the person that invited you here, shoot them a text message and just let them know I'm either in or I'm out. And you know what, at the end of the day, we want to say thank you very much for sticking with us. This is a little longer presentation than normal, but I can tell you what was it, 70, 75 minutes? To me, 75 minutes to be able to see an opportunity that can potentially change your life can be the best hour and 15 minutes that you've ever spent. And so with that, I want to say thank you for sticking with us. And, I want to say thank you as well to my guest co-host this evening, Mr. Mike Sims, Steve Carter, William Faucette. Any final thoughts as we close out the presentation?
Fantastic job.
All right.
Welcome to the team, everyone.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you tuning in tonight, and we'll see you soon. Take care.